What's up, guys? All right. The performance of the night bonuses went to Spivak, Nakamura, Anshul, and Tatsuro. And I don't know if you guys heard yet, but the contract winners tonight were Park, Nakamura, Lee, and Anshul. Who's got the first question?
David, just looking at this evening and looking at that main event, what are your thoughts on Sergey and how good did he look out there?
Spivak?
Spivak, with what he was able to do against Derek.
Yeah, listen, I have a lot of respect for Derek Lewis. I love the guy, and he got manhandled tonight. Spivak looked really good. He made a big statement tonight.
And I guess kind of on the flip side, like Derek, this is another tough loss, but this is a guy that everybody loves seeing Derek. I mean, I love him too. Does this hurt his stock? I mean, what do we do with Derek at this
Not with me. I love the guy. So, I love him. So, he's not going anywhere.
And you mentioned the road to the UFC. What are your overall thoughts on, what we saw tonight in the finale and overall just the whole road to the UFC product? Are you happy with what came out of the whole thing?
Yeah. Obviously, there was some serious talent. And we think we got some guys that have potential, and we're rolling right into another one now. We're looking for more talent for the next one. So,
we had Kevin Shane come in here earlier, and and he was talking about it as well. And we talked about that market. I mean, is this product and are there other areas of over in the Asia that you guys are trying to make bigger inroads in, or are you guys happy with the countries currently that you guys are working with to bring in new talent?
Yeah, I mean, what we're always trying to do is find new up-and-coming talent all over the world. So, after we have a season like this and how it ended, I think some of these markets that India, and different parts of Asia, whether it's Korea or China or Japan, they see what happened tonight with some of these kids, and if some of these kids can continue to climb up the ladder in the UFC, I think you'll see more and more talent working in these different territories to try to get into the UFC. These are life-changing experiences if you can get here.
And then looking toward this year, obviously Asia and that market over there is very important for the UFC. Do we have plans, or is there any other big fights later on this year that we can expect to see over in Asia, maybe back in South Korea or in Japan?
I mean, every market's important to us. Every market is, not just Asia. Finding talent all over the world's important to us, and that's what we're trying. I mean, we're announcing here, we're going to have a press release out for you guys soon, start talking about the PI Mexico, which is really cranking right now, and we're focused on all over the world, not just one market specifically. And I still am working on getting a fight in Africa too. We're working on that.
And recently, the big news came out. Ultimate Fighter having Conor's return. How excited are you guys to obviously see Conor back and Chandler as being the opponent? Why was Chandler the right person to be opposite of Conor coming back?
Well, I think that's the fight that people want to see right now. I think that's an exciting fight, and the fact that this season is on ESPN. When you think about the Ultimate Fighter and how long it's been around, we started on Spike, we had a run on Fox, and then now it's actually going to be on ESPN, the network. It's exciting and it's fun, and it's an incredible opportunity for the contestants on the show. It's a big deal. This is a big season. It's a big deal.
Do you expect that there's going to be nice talk back and forth? I think a lot of times people look at Chandler and think he's pretty reserved. Sometimes when we see the Ultimate Fighter, it's all about the talking back and forth between the coaches. You think both these coaches set up to have some nice interchanges between the two of them?
I don't know. I mean, it's what I like about the Ultimate Fighter is that every season is different. There's no real, every season something different happens. It'll be interesting to see with Chandler and Conor. I think that there's a level of respect between those two, but when you get inside and you see each other every day and you're crossing paths, but things happen. I don't know how it's going to play out, and that's what makes the season fun. I don't know how it's going to go.
I know a lot of people are wondering too, with Conor coming back, what weight class is that fight going to take place at? Is that going to be a welterweight fight? Is that going to be a lightweight fight?
We don't have any details for the fight yet. I don't have a place. I don't have a date. I don't have any of that stuff yet. But we'll get. The coaches are probably going to get here the Monday after the Super Bowl, and then we'll get a lot of this stuff figured out, and I'll announce it.
And the last one on that, and I know it's probably ports into stuff that we don't really know. is the 6-month period it takes for the USADA. Even if Conor was to start this month, that means that fight couldn't happen until maybe August. Do we know when he's going to try to enter back into the pool?
I don't know. I don't know any of those questions. I don't know anything regarding the fight yet.
Gotcha. We saw Yuri in the building today. Did you guys have some talks with him? And do we know when he's ready for his return?
Yeah, I talked to him tonight just to say what's up. I'm not pushing him to return. I want him to take as much time as he needs, and I don't want him to push that shoulder. I don't want him to feel like there's a timeline where we need him back. The timeline is as soon as he's 100% healthy. I do not want him to rush or push it.
And if we don't see Jamal in beforehand, that's the fight to make if Yuri comes back in time for him and Jamal to go for that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's ready, if he's ready, but I don't want him to feel like he needs to be ready to get that fight. Whoever has the title, when he's 100% healthy, that fight's waiting for him.
And I remember a while back we had talked about, we know that you love the Contender Series, you love the TUF. TUF had champions. Now we finally actually have a champion from the Contender Series.
Yeah.
How proud are you of that, and what do you expect for the future of future contestants on that show?
I expect more of that. I was actually talking to Ioli on the phone the other day, and I was in the war room. And, on the board, on one of the fights that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, there's like something crazy, like 13 fighters on that card from the Contender Series. And, almost all of you, if not all of you, have sat in here on the nights, Tuesday nights, and, seeing these incredible fights. So it's not a shocker to me that we already have a champ, and I think we're going to see a lot more world champions coming out of the Contender Series.
Awesome. Last one for me. Power Slap, I think it's in the third week. How is that going? Is it meeting expectations, and what are your thoughts on the overall feeling that you're getting back for the show so far?
Yeah, the social media and digital is insane. I don't know if you guys have looked at that, but on TikTok, we average 10 million views per post on TikTok. And to put it into perspective, the WWE does 1.5 million. UFC does 770,000. The NFL does 545,000. We're pulling 10 million. When you look at the TV show and the spot that we're at and everything that they've put on that network coming out of AEW has failed. From incredibly popular shows like Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers, Young Sheldon. As soon as the show's over, it drops off into the abyss. We hold 47 to 50% of the AEW crowd, and we're number 2 every night with men on all of cable behind the NBA. So, considering the demographic for that thing is probably more digital, yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's going. So far, so good.
Hey, Dana.
Yep.
I was really impressed with Rinya Nakamura tonight. Just seemed like a merciless savage. How far do you think Nakamura can go in the UFC?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we brought these guys in and put them through the series because we hope that they can someday, Listen, if you can get into the UFC and break into the top 5, it's a huge win for you. Not everybody gets to become a world champion here. The absolute best of the best fight here, and we just like to see guys break into the top 5, but if they can become world champions, that's incredible.
Nakamura said he's going to celebrate by playing blackjack in Vegas. So
I like his style.
Are you going to give him any advice for how to hit the table?
Yeah, don't do it. Go home. Go sit in your room. Go to a buffet. I don't know.
With UFC 284s coming in hot now, can you put into words what it means for all combat sports when we get the pound-for-pound number 1 and the pound-for-pound number 2 in weight classes next to each other, both in the prime of their career? Because this doesn't normally happen. Yeah,
I don't think it's ever happened. Number 1 and number 2, pound for pound. Yeah, I mean it's a monster fight, and the gate alone out of there is going to be a MSG type gate, and the pre-buys for pay-per-view are. If I had my phone, I'd walk you through every one of them. But it's beating all the fights of its type, and it's probably going to break the record for pay-per-view in Australia and New Zealand. The UFC. Our record, which was Conor and somebody. But it's looking like it's going to break that record. So it's a monster fight.
A win for Islam would see him step further from Khabib's shadow for Volkanovski champ status. Regardless of who wins, though, how big is this fight for individual legacy? Like, what's at stake for these guys?
For both of these guys, you mean?
Yeah, whoever wins. Yeah.
I mean, when you have the number 1 versus number 2 pound for pound guys in the world fighting each other, like you said, in their prime, it's never happened. If you think of all the fights that we've done in the UFC, So, when you talk about legacy, if Volkanovski could pull this off, it's obviously massive. And if yeah, can pull it off, it's, he's on his way to building an incredible legacy.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Jamal Hill earlier becoming a graduate from the Contender Series to win the UFC title. There's a similar narrative heading into 284 with Yair Rodriguez, former Ultimate Fighter Latin champion. Is that kind of one of your favoured narratives going into fights when you have fighters who come in from a product like that, Contender Series or Ultimate Fighter Latin champion, going on to fight these title fights?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we bring in talent that we think has potential, no matter what, how they get there, it's always exciting. But that's what we're always, the thing that we're always focused on is how do we find the best up-and-coming talent in the world so that, the best can absolutely fight the best. That's what we always strive to do and work on anyway. What I like about building these type of shows, whether it's the Contender Series, looking for a fight, the Ultimate Fighter, whatever it is, it's the fast track to, for instance, I'm St. Patty's Day, I'll be in Boston. 2 days before St. Patty's Day, we're filming looking for a fight there. And then I'm flying to London for the London fight. But after that show is shot, and if we pick somebody out of this, it's Calvin Cater's show that we're looking at out there. And, whoever wins, 1.5 to 2 million people will see this kid fight before he ever sets foot in the UFC. So it's almost like this fast track, like the Contender Series, You build these storylines and you get to know these kids before they ever set foot in the UFC. That's what those shows are really created for.
Yeah, and with Conor and the Ultimate Fighter, I'm curious who initiated the conversations or the communication. Was it Conor's team who said wanted to pursue that, or was it from the UFC whose idea was it to get Conor into the Ultimate Fighter again?
Of course we did. Yeah.
That was on your side.
Of course.
Yeah, and he was on board straight.
Well, that's what we do every season. Every season we figure out who we think would be the, as you go into a new season, everything's about timing. Who's got fights set up, who's this, who's that, and obviously, first of all, Conor's a massive star, number one. He's been away for a while, and the timing was perfect for it.
Yeah.
That's why we did it.
So Makhachev and Volks, the legacy pound-for-pound fight. We've got Jon Jones returning next month, Conor McGregor returning. How big of a year could 2023 be for your business when things like this are going on the UFC's 30th anniversary year?
But this is what we do every year. This isn't like this amazing breakout year. This is what we do every year. This is what we do. Every year, it's funny because every year I'm like, this is the biggest year, but every year we figure out how to top last year. And last year was an incredible year. If you look at the entire year, we sold out every event all last year. So, beating the year before is never easy around here, but it's just what we do.
And last one for me, I've spent a little bit of time at the PI over the last few weeks, and I wanted to ask you how much more advanced sports sciences are in 2023 compared to when you first got into the industry.
Oh, my God. There's no comparison. It's not even comparable. A lot of these guys, when me and the Fertitta brothers got involved, the training was so bad, it was unbelievable. And that's why back in the day we had so many injuries. People were getting injured left and right. Training for a fight, and the reason to build the PI was to try to control as much as you could possibly control what you can't possibly control, if that makes sense. If you get the coaches and the fighters in with the best possible trainers in the world, the best possible strength and conditioning trainers, the best possible physical therapists. You could take away a lot of the stuff that you couldn't control, which was these injuries that didn't need to happen because coaches and fighters were so uneducated about training. That was the reason we built the PI. And we had a team that flew around and literally went to the best facilities in the world, from Manchester United to NFL facilities to college football facilities, tennis, you name it. We looked at the best of everything there was, and the PI is a little piece of all of those.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey Dana.
Hey,
I
buddy.
just had a quick question about the Doo-Ho Choi fight. Did you think that point deduction was warranted with the headbutt in the last?
Absolutely not. I thought it was insane, and it cost him the fight. I paid him his win money. He won that fight, so I paid him.
Awesome. And I wanted to ask about this because obviously with the new season of The Ultimate Fighter, Dustin Poirier had put out a meme today. He called it the All My Children season of The Ultimate Fighter and kind of made a joke about Conor and Chandler. Do you have any updates on Dustin Poirier this year?
No, nothing yet.
Okay.
If I did, I would have announced it this morning.
And finally, for me, I just wanted to talk about Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. I feel like it's taken a little bit of a sideline to the main event, but I mean, Yair's a guy that can knock anybody out at any point in time, and Josh Emmett has incredible KO power. I just wanted to get your thoughts.
I agree with you. That's a badass fight with two of the best in the world in that division, and yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I agree with everything you said. It's a great fight. Definitely getting overlooked, but. When we say stuff like that, like, oh, this fight's being overshadowed by the main event, I could see why we would say that, but at the same time, when people look at a card that are fans, they look at how deep a card is and how good the fights are on it, and, that's definitely one of them. Thanks.
Dana, because it was a fun fight and they had the back and forth, do you try to reschedule Nelson and Superboy, or you just walk away from that and just don't even bother with a rematch?
No. Listen, it was a tough fight for those guys, but in my opinion, Choi won the fight, and sometimes the refereeing or judging isn't perfect. So, yeah, sometimes I, do what I can do, take it in my own hands, and I felt like that kid got robbed on that ridiculous call.
All right, and shout out for giving him that win bonus. That's super nice. With the adjustment of the timing and for the audience on the other side of the world, can we see more fights starting late in order to get numbers?
No. This was supposed to be in Korea. That's the way, because that's how this fight was scheduled. So, yeah, no.
Excellent. And
this is too late.
Right, I can see the monster. In March, we have Jones returning, regardless of his outside issues. Has his star power remained the same? Do you still see the same type of numbers that you did when he was on a pay-per-view coming up?
Jon Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah, this fight's going to be massive. Massive, yeah. When you're dealing with fighters, much like Tyson or any of the other guys, the things that happen outside the ring or the octagon or whatever you want to call it, almost bring more, intrigue or whatever you want to call it to certain fighters. And Jon Jones is definitely one of those guys.
Yes, sir. And last but not least, you had Fedor retiring tonight. Any thoughts on another legend hanging him up and done for good with the sport?
Listen, there's a guy like 46. Yeah. He shouldn't be fighting. But, he's a grown-ass man and can do whatever he wants to do. But, yeah, he probably should have hung it up a few years ago.
Thank you.
Just on that, Fedor, was there any sadness that you guys never got him over here into the UFC?
No, I don't dislike Fedor or anything like that. But, no, it didn't happen, just we gave it a shot. We can't say we didn't try. We gave it a shot, and it is what it is.
Do you think his legacy was tarnished for the fact that he never made it here to the UFC?
I don't want to shit on the guy. He's retiring tonight and all that stuff. But you guys know the old interviews with me. I never thought Fedor was that. He got knocked out by middleweight Dan Henderson. You know what I mean? It's like I think some of the guys in the business, people liked him, so they praised him, and he never got to test himself over here. But I never was one of the guys that thought he was one of the greatest of all time.
How with Jon Jones fight coming up, did you ever think you would see him in the heavyweight division, and how much are you anticipating this compared? Is it one of the most anticipated fights in your mind, Jones at heavyweight?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this fight, especially facing Cyril Gane, I mean, when it looked like it was going to be Francis, Jon Jones was the favorite in that fight. Then when it switches to Cyril Gane, Jon Jones is actually the underdog. This is a much better fight for Jon Jones. If Jon Jones, when you talk about his legacy, if he can come in and beat Cyril Gane, I said this when I talked to you guys last time, nobody can deny that Jon Jones is the greatest of all time. He comes in and wins this heavyweight division. It's hard to debate if he doesn't win the fight, but he wins this fight. There's no more talk. There's no more debate. It is what it is. It's like Brady when Brady left the Patriots and won, with the Buccaneers. It's just like I get it. You want to hate on Tom Brady, but you can't anymore. That's what's going to happen with Jon Jones. He beats Cyril Gane.
And with Jubilee winning tonight, how big is that for the UFC for him to win and open up that market in India? Yeah,
I mean, anytime we bring in some kids from, it's like Conor winning, from Ireland when he came in and won and went on his run. It's like George St. Pierre for Canada when George St. Pierre went on the run. I mean, any of these guys that can go on a real run and really become, like I said earlier, top 5. Yeah, Weili Zhang. Look at Weili Zhang. Our staff from China is here, and I was talking to a woman named Leanne that works for us, and she was telling me that Weili Zhang is a massive superstar in China, like massive. So, yeah, it's everything when you
lots
get
of people over there.
Yeah, and when you get these kids that can break into the top 5 or become world champions, it just blows a market up.
Thanks.
Speaking of legacy, have you taken the time to appreciate and reflect on your career as a promoter and businessman?
No, I don't ever really do that. I'm happy with what I do and I love it, but I don't ever think about that stuff. I always say this, when they talk about legacy, my legacy is my kids. You know what I mean? It's just, this is what I do for a living. I love it, and it doesn't really mean much to me. But thank you.
Are you hoping Brady does a one-day contract with the Patriots so he can retire as a Patriot?
How classy is
For Kraft to offer
He's just the classiest guy in the world. He's one of the best human beings you could ever meet. And the speech that he gave about Tom Brady on social media, or however that got posted, I don't know if it was an interview or whatever, but I literally texted him and said, "You are the classiest, most amazing human being of all time." And it would be awesome if Brady did do that. I would love it, and I'm sure the people of New England would love that too. Yeah. Cool? Have a good night, you guys.